understand cholesterol, let's do this thought experiment with me. Imagine your body being a city which has highways, which are your main arteries, aorta, and main arteries coming out of aorta. Then those arteries, like highways, break into bigger boulevards. From there, small street road starts. And as you know, those street roads have houses on both sides. And in between those houses, there is a space to grow your flowers, landscaping. That's exactly is your vascular tree. And then second part of this thought experiment is see how the traffic moves. Through the freeway, traffic is fast and it goes to your destination exit points and then you go to street. What happens if those streets get overcrowded with the vehicles or there is an accident or there is a problem with the condition of those roads? You will have accidents, you will have injuries. That's exactly what is happening in your body when we want to understand the cholesterol. Cholesterol and fat are not the same thing. Cholesterol is the waxy material, which is 80% of is being made by your liver and 20% is through dietary sources. That waxy material is needed for all animal cells to manufacture their cell membrane. Each cell has a cell membrane, and the integrity of that cell comes from this cholesterol. So, cholesterol is not a villain. Cholesterol is very important chemical which is needed, and we cannot live. Our life is not viable without this cholesterol. Further, not only to making your cells, this cholesterol is used to make a lot of important hormones like testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone. Also, your stress hormone, which is cortisol. In addition, vitamin D, which is responsible for your bone health, is derived from cholesterol. You digest food because when you eat food, the bile salts, which are made by the liver, which are cholesterol byproduct, they break your fat content of your food into smaller absorbable particles. So cholesterol is not a villain. Cholesterol is the hero and life is not possible. It is required for your cell membrane functions and integrity. It is required for hormone production, vitamin D production, and for digestion of food. Just imagine a world where none of these functions cannot happen properly and you will not exist. So, what makes cholesterol so bad? It is wrong myths and misinformation which we have developed. We tend to relate cholesterol and fat in the same bucket, but that is not the reason. Cholesterol is the builder or the building material of life, whereas fat is one of the currencies of energy. If one fat molecule have more than double the calories stored in, whether of carbohydrate or proteins. Fat cells or fatty acids or the fat which we see stored, that is only a energy source and few vitamins. Yes, by having fat, it provides insulin. By having fat, it provides us ready-made source of energy storage and also provide shape to our different organs and thermoinsulation. How body moves this cholesterol and fat in the body, that is where all the confusion starts. Fat and cholesterol both are insoluble in water, so they cannot go through the blood. They cannot float around in the blood. So nature has come up with a very intricate system where these molecules are combined with lipoproteins. Combination of cholesterol, fat, and these lipoprotein is the one which creates different particles which go by the name of VLDL, LDL, HDL, or IDL. These particles are like vehicles on the road. And on this lipoprotein vehicles, we load two things. We load cholesterol and we also load fat into that. That is, I think, is the biggest source of confusion between cholesterol and fats. They do affect each other, which we will explore. Now, imagine these vehicles, lipoprotein vehicles, which are carrying your cholesterol and carrying your fat, they are traveling to your cells. Cholesterol gets used to repair and maintain your cells, making hormones, vitamin D, and digestion, whereas fats are used for energy. What happens if there are too much of cholesterol has to be carried or too much fat has to be carried? Then liver has to produce a lot more of these vehicles or lipoproteins. That is what leads to increased production of low density cholesterols. Let's extend our analogy further. These vehicles are now crowding our highways, our bigger roads, and then eventually the street roads. And then they start crashing and they end up having accident, and in between those houses, the spaces between two houses, those houses are equivalent to having the inner lining endothelial cells of your blood vessels, and the spaces which I've used metaphorically for lawns is the one which is space between one endothelial cell and another endothelial cells, and these vehicles or LDL cholesterol gets pushed into those spaces. When they are out of this space, they need to be brought back. And the only way we could bring them back is through another towing truck, which is your HDL cholesterol or good cholesterol, which we name it. The both of them are different. LDL cholesterol is taking the cholesterol and fat to the cells to be used, whereas HDL cholesterol is a towing truck analogy, bringing those debris back to the cholesterol so that it could recycle it. I hope so far you're with me that liver and the dietary source are the places where cholesterol gets synthesized, and from there the cholesterol is loaded onto these lipoprotein trucks. Onto this cholesterol and fats are loaded onto these lipoprotein trucks, and they are taken to different parts of the body. And if there is too crowded, accidents happen and it goes in between the endothelial cells. In those endothelial cells, when there is a wreck, inflammatory cells come in, and those inflammatory cells try to engulf this debris, but in that process they release a lot of chemicals, which are leads to bringing on more chemicals and more cells and leading to plaque formation, and that is we call atherosclerosis. This process is not as simple as I am trying to describe, but I want you to be with me and have a thought experiment so that you understand this analogy. Now, your body will try to repair it by putting a scar tissue around that wreck. And once you see a lot of scar tissue on this debris, we say or we think the plaque is stable now, it has been patched up. But most of the time, if there is no fibrous cap on that site of injury or accident, there will be a lot of fat which gets unloaded in that area, and that plaque is full of fat. Fat cells become a source of attraction for the platelets, which come and they get activated and they become sticky and they start extending the clot. Whenever you have a heart attack, that's exactly the process is happening. Your plaque, which is there loaded with fat, ruptures. That releases those receptors which attracts your platelets and make them sticky, and then other coagulation protein come in and extend the clot, and they keep on narrowing your artery and then can lead to heart attack and stroke depending on which part of the body this plaque formation is happening. So cholesterol is required for main functions of the body, and life is not possible. Fat is a reserve. Fats are the source of energy storage. Now let's go over the relationship of your cholesterol level and the fats which we eat, because that's where most of the discussion needs to be. Cholesterol synthesis not only depends on what is needed in the body and what you are also the cholesterol synthesis. The cholesterol gets synthesized at two places. The sources of cholesterol in the body are two. 80% of your cholesterol is made by the liver and 20% absorbed from the gut from your dietary sources. That's why there are a lot of discussions these days whether dietary sources of cholesterol, the credence which we used to give, are they really that much importance? Because liver can control the synthesis of cholesterol based on its needs. Let's use common experience. People who are skinny, they don't eat high fat diet, but if you check their cholesterol, it's very high. The reason is 20% is only dietary, 80% is what liver is making. There is a great symphony between the level of cholesterol which is needed in the body and how much cholesterol will be absorbed from your gut, and also how much will your liver will make. If your cholesterol level drops, liver will ramp up the production of cholesterol, or it will increase, your body will increase the absorption of cholesterol from the gut. If your cholesterol level is high, the cholesterol production will go down and the absorption will go down. That works very well if we live the life which evolution wants you to live. Evolutionarily, we are supposed to eat lean foods. We need to move. If we continue to override our physiology, that we don't eat what we are supposed to eat, we don't sleep, we don't rest, we do not relax, we do not manage our stress, then the normal homeostatic mechanism gets bypassed and we have a big issue with cholesterol synthesis, absorption, transport, and leading to lot of overproduction of the cholesterol. Thank you.